everyone. Uh, During the last lecture, I was discussing about our immune system, mostly the introductory part. And during today's lecture, I will be focusing on our innate immunity, that is also known as first line of defense. So in this lecture, I will be mostly explain about the basic concept of innate versus adaptive immune system, followed by mechanism of innate immune response and how over the time innate response to adaptive immune response, that transition happen, that I will also explain. And in order to start here, I would like to mention first that in response to pathogens, our immune system uses two interconnected systems. The first one is innate immunity and the other one is the adaptive immunity. So from the name itself, it suggests that innate, that means it's inborn. Whatever the response we use in case of innate immunity, those are present from our birth, inborn. And adaptive immunity, it's acquired during the lifespan. Over the time, somehow our immune system learn different types of enemy, pathogen, microbes, and as a result of that, they develop their immune system in such a way that they can defend in a better way. So I will explain all those things in right time. But now think just overall idea about innate and adaptive immune response. So here, if you imagine that these are some bacteria, okay? So bacteria, but these are some pathogenic bacteria, not the commensal which is present in our body. Now, when these bacteria invade to some human individual, when we are getting infected by some bacteria, then what will happen? So, as I already mentioned, our innate and adaptive, both arm of immune system will act on it. But at the beginning, we will be seeing that innate immunity is responsible to protect us because the response, the innate response is very fast and it initially try to halt the infection. So that somehow it is trying to prevent the infection so that bacteria, whatever enter in our body, it cannot multiply so quickly, right? And then if you see, the next point is no memory. So as a result of that, what I'm trying to say by no memory, that again after 6 months, after 1 year, if I am getting infected by the same bacteria, but my innate immune system will work in the same way. So they will think that again it is coming for the first time. So this is how our innate immune system works. On the other hand, if you concentrate on our adaptive immunity, you will be seeing that the response is slower. It will take some time. It will take at least 4 to 5 days, sometime even more, in order to initiate the adaptive immune response. So that's why I told at the beginning, first few days, our innate immune system, that is taking care of this infection so that it cannot spread so quickly. And then adaptive immune system is also kind of coming into place. So its response is slower and it will be able to stop the infection. It will properly control the infection. And at the end, there will be some kind of memory. This is immunological memory. Some immune cells will, have this memory so that again, maybe 6 months, 1 year or 2 years later, if we are getting infected by the same bacteria, then our adaptive immune cells, those memory cells, they can quickly understood what happened before and accordingly they will make weapon to defend themselves. That means to defend host. And as a result of that, next time with the same bacterial infection, most of the time I would say we will not even understood that something happened to our body. The disease will not be there itself. because our adaptive immune system is already properly, can, tackle this problem much in an efficient way because of this memory. And because of this, huge understanding about innate and adaptive immune response, in 2011, Nobel Prize was awarded to this group of scientists who contributed a lot in this field. Now, here I would like to explain innate and adaptive immune response in context to a typical acute infection. Whatever I mentioned in the last slide, I will tell almost same thing in much more detail. So, as you can see here, in y-axis, here in y-axis, we are showing level of microorganism. So, just for the time being, you can just imagine this is level of bacteria, some pathogenic bacteria, right? Level of bacteria. And in x-axis, duration of infection. So, this is starting point 0 days, and I would say at the end it is 15 days, something like that, not a hard and fast rule there, but it should be somewhere like that, like 0 to 15 days. Now, at the beginning, at 0 day, that time point, that is entry of microorganism. That means something happened, like some infection happened. So, some microbes, in this case some bacteria, that enter inside our body. And now, what will happen? Bacteria, they will multiply. They grow through binary fission. So, from 1 bacteria to 2 to 4, 4 to 8, that way it will grow in our body. So, as a result of that, you will be seeing that bacteria number is increasing. So, this is bacterial number is increasing, this curve. As you can see, this is going in this way. And at this moment, what you can see, the bacterial point of view, if you see, that is trying to establish the infection. So, this is the establishment of infection. But at this time point, from the very beginning, within our innate immune system is trying to prevent ourselves, trying to kill bacteria by different methods I will be discussing soon. So, as a result of that, if you see from the beginning, the contribution of innate immune response is already there. And over the time, if you see, the innate response is gradually, it will go low and low, and the adaptive immune system will take over to completely clear the infection. But let's see what happened. So, in this point, so here, as you can see, bacteria already increased the number to some extent, and this is, we are saying, the threshold level of antigen to activate adaptive immune response. So, threshold level of antigen means here, I would say it can be some protein, some peptide coming from that particular pathogen or particular bacteria here. So, that antigen is required in order to stimulate our adaptive immune system. So, that is why we are mentioning that threshold level of antigen to activate adaptive immune response. Then, this phase, when our adaptive immune system is getting activated, this is called inductive phase. So, induction of adaptive immune system is happening. Still, if you see that innate immune system, innate immune response is still there, they are still trying to protect us, because if that is not protecting, then bacteria or pathogen, they can multiply very fast and we will be too sick. So, it is trying to protect so that our adaptive immune system can take over this challenge, and together innate and adaptive, they can clear the infection. And you will be seeing this is like here, no more growth of pathogen or bacteria. So, that means somehow like innate and adaptive together, they are tackling in a better way so that they cannot multiply anymore. And now, this is effector phase. Here you can see adaptive immune system is already came into place, and it is properly clearing the infection, and the level of microorganism is gradually slowing down, going down. Okay. And at this point, as you can see, pathogen has been cleared, no more infection, the disease is gone, nothing. And After that, I would say this is memory phase. That means some memory cell, some immune cell with immunological memory, they will retain in our system, so that if we get infected with the same pathogen again in future, so that can properly, that can be properly tackled by these memory cells. So this is how innate and adaptive immune system, they work together in context to an infection. So now, if I discuss in this way, so because here I mention both innate and adaptive immune system, right? So what do you think, if experimentally we can develop some mouse model, right? So for some mouse model, that some mouse, they don't have innate immune system, the innate arm is missing, and another group of mouse, they don't have the adaptive immune system, they lack adaptive immune system. So what do you think, which one will survive better? Innate immune system, that's mouse that lack innate immune system, or mouse that lack adaptive immune system? So answer is something like this. See, this is our duration of infection, and this is level of pathogen, level of bacteria, pathogen, whatever you say. Now, in a normal condition, in a normal mouse, as you have already seen, this is kind of curve, the number of pathogen. Now, when we don't have, like some mouse experimentally, if they don't have the innate immune system, that will be a bigger problem, because at the beginning, no one there to check the multiplication of bacteria or pathogen. So as a result of that, without innate immune system, it will go like this. So mouse will die very quickly, because adaptive immune system not yet activated. Before that, the number of pathogen is too high. So this is lacking innate immune response. Okay, lacking innate immune response. But in case of mouse which lack adaptive immune response, you can understand the first part will be similar. So as a result of that, I would say, so if this is mouse that lacks adaptive immune response, see, this is going like similar way, because up to this there is no such role of adaptive immune system. Then the number of bacteria will not decrease. So it is going like this now. So this is mouse lacking adaptive immune response. Okay, and this is normal mouse. So now I hope you understand, the contribution of innate and adaptive immune response. So as a result of that, this is already present in the next slide, but I just wanted to discuss in this way so that you can think also. So I would say losing the innate arm of the immune system results in more disastrous outcome than losing the acquired arm. Acquired arm means the adaptive immune system, and innate arm means the innate immune system here. So this is experimentally we can generate some mouse, like there you can almost they don't have either innate or adaptive immune system. That is possible, and that way experiment can be done. Now I will summarize the innate and adaptive immune system, and then I will be discussing the mechanism of innate immune response. So as I already mentioned that in case of innate immune system, the response time is very fast, minutes to hours. But in adaptive immune system, it will take some time. It will take some information while the innate immune response is going on. So that's why it will take some time. After a few days, the adaptive immune system will start functioning against a particular pathogen. And the specificity in case of innate immune system is limited and fixed, but adaptive immune system is highly diverse. It adapts to improve during the course of infection, course of immune response. And as a result of that, as I told, today our immune system, our body, if it sees some new pathogen, it will develop some weapon against that pathogen, so the pathogen will be cleared. But again, I would say 5 years later, whenever some new pathogen will come, again our adaptive immune system will learn how to defend that, and accordingly it will make product and substances so that it can clear the infection. So it's highly diverse, it can adapt properly. Now, response to repeat infection, already I mentioned, same each time, but more rapid and effective with each subsequent exposure. And major components of innate immune systems are anatomic barriers, for example, skin, phagocytes, those cells which directly engulf microbes, and some pattern recognition molecule. They can understand that the microbes or some pathogens are in the surrounding, and they can act on it, right? So on pathogen, they have some other molecule that is called PAMP. This is kind of group name, not a specific name. Pathogen associated molecular pattern, PAM, and that can be recognized by pattern recognition molecule, pattern recognition receptor present in on our immune cells. And in case of adaptive immune system, as you can see, mostly T and B lymphocyte, commonly we say T cell and B cell, mostly they are the major thing of our adaptive immune systems. Now, what is the mechanism of innate immune system? How innate immune response actually appear? So the thing is, I would first focus on mechanical, chemical and biological factors. So mechanical factors, like for example, some anatomic barrier. The first thing coming into place is skin, right? So throughout our body, almost in all places, our body is covered by skin. It's a kind of epidermis layer. So it is directly preventing pathogen to enter inside our body. So that is some kind of anatomic barrier, some kind of mechanical factor, right? Skin. Number two, mucus is also present in many places, particularly I would say in our digestive tract, in the inner line, a lot of mucus present. Mucus is also preventing microbes to directly invade our epithelial cell, which is present in the inner lining of our digestive tract, and also airways in respiratory tract also. Lot of mucus present, and it is preventing bacteria directly invade those epithelial tissues or cells. Number three, I would say flushing action of saliva and tears. So tears coming from eye and saliva also from salivary gland. So those also, like because of their continuous secretion, this is kind of flushing action. They can flush away small particles, foreign particles, sometimes microbes also. So that way, these are the mechanical factors or anatomic barrier which is kind of constantly protecting us from infection. Now, if I move into chemical factors, there are huge number of chemical factors. They are part of our innate immune system. I will give few examples. Like many antimicrobial peptides, okay, present in sweat. So when we are sweating, so a lot of antimicrobial peptides are also coming outside, and that is also helping us. They are also protecting us from the infection. And apart from that, like all of you know, that lot of HCl, hydrochloric acid, is constantly getting secreted inside our stomach. So HCl present in stomach, that also prevent pathogen, because that is the pH is too low, almost pH is around 1 to 1.5. So as a result of that much acidic condition, like most of the pathogen, almost all microbes, they will die there. Like some bacteria, sometimes they can survive. For example, you might know that Helicobacter pylori, some bacteria, right? They can survive at very acidic pH. Then number 3, another chemical factor is very important, that is lysozyme. That is some kind of enzyme that act against the peptidoglycan layer of bacteria. So you can just consider that lysozyme can destroy bacteria, right? And lysozyme is present in huge amount in saliva and also in tears. So these are some example of chemical factors that also protect us. Then coming into biological factors. Like, there are a lot of microbes. Those are not pathogen, good microbes, commensals, right? They are present. I would say around 1,000 different species of bacteria present in our oral cavity and digestive tract. So that means lot of different types of bacteria present in our digestive tract, and they are not creating problem to us. Rather, if some pathogenic bacteria, pathogenic microbes, they are trying to colonize in our body, then they need to compete with this good bacteria which is already present. So as a result of that, these bacteria, they are also preventing us. They are actually helping us, I would say, from the infection. So that the pathogenic bacteria, they need to compete for nutrients, for colonization, for all those things, right? So this is also very much helpful. And that's why in the previous module, I particularly mentioned that we shouldn't take antibiotics randomly. Without requirement, we shouldn't take antibiotics, because that will kill this good bacteria and that will create more problem for us. These are some of the mechanical, chemical and biological factors involved in our innate immune response. Now, I would like to focus on cells of innate immune system. This figure particularly I explained during the last lecture, that how different types of blood cells are getting originated from bone marrow. But now I will focus on only 4 different types of cells, 4 to 5 different types of cells here. So one is neutrophil here, and second one is dendritic cell, third one macrophage, and the fourth one is NK cells. So these 4 cells, they are the major innate immune cells present in our body, okay? So they, from the beginning, they try to, protect us by trying to prevent pathogen. Let's see how. Neutrophil. So neutrophil, they are very good at phagocytosis. So phagocytosis means directly they are trying to engulf, they are engulfing, they are eating those pathogen microbes right? So as a result of that, they are reducing that number. So phagocytosis. And then the next one is macrophage. So macrophage, they can also, like, that they have two major functions. One is phagocytosis and antigen presentation. So I will discuss in detail what is antigen presentation. Antigen presentation is the beginning of adaptive immune system. So because of the antigen presentation, adaptive immune system will start acting. And then the next one is dendritic cell. So dendritic cell, again, their function is both phagocytosis and antigen presentation. And the fourth one, natural killer cells. This is, as their name suggests, that naturally they have some killing activity, natural killer cell. So they are very good at killing some defective cells. Like, particularly I would like to mention, they kill virus infected cell. They are very good at it. So now all those cells together, they actually, take part, they play important role in innate immune response, and in addition to that, they initiate the adaptive immune response also. And I would also like to mention how macrophage dendritic cell, how they understand that, some problem is happening and they will take care of this. I'm just giving you one example. See, for example, if this is epithelial layer, some epithelial cells I am mentioning. So, for example, this is skin layer. So, this is epithelial cell. Now, some bacteria, if some, breach in the skin, some damage, some kind of small cut happen, some bacteria, they can enter, they can create problem the surrounding cells. So from the damaged cells, some kind of, signature molecules coming up. So that can be different, types of molecule, but those molecules together, they are coming from our own cell, particularly damaged cells. So those are called alarmins. So as the name suggests, they are sending the alarm that some problem is there, okay, some damage happened. This alarmins will alert dendritic cell. So this is DC, dendritic cell, this is DC, okay. DC as well as macrophage. So they will alert dendritic cell and macrophage so that they will take care of this problem, so very quickly. They will try to phagocytose those bacteria, right? So this is, I'm just giving one example. Now let's see. In more details, I'll be discussing what happens after a breach at the epithelial barriers, such as skin. As you can see, this is the intrinsic epithelial barriers. So it prevents infection. So this is skin everywhere present, and it's helped a lot. Now, as you can see, this is, if I say this is now skin, and just below the skin, the subcutaneous layer, and here this is our blood vessel, okay. Now, some bacteria, as you can see here, they adhere to the epithelium. That means they adhere to the skin. Now, local infection might happen because of some breach at the epithelial barrier. So this is local infection. As you can see, those bacteria, they are now entering inside the tissue. So these are the bacteria, they are coming inside the tissue. And as I just mentioned, that alarmin and all those things, I'm not going into that details, but what is happening here, this is DC and this is macrophage. So those are tissue resident macrophage or tissue resident dendritic cell. Most of those cells generally present inside blood, okay, and some lymph node in some other portion, specific portion of our body. But they also present in tissue. Those are called tissue resident macrophage and tissue resident dendritic cell. They quickly assess this problem and they will defend, like they will try to kill those. And not only that, they will send the signal. You can see this dendritic cell again, like they are recruiting more dendritic cell and macrophage inside the local infection so that challenge can be taken over in a better way. So all these things that will create some kind of symptoms of local infection. And because of this interaction between the pathogen and this dendritic cell and macrophage, they will also activate our adaptive immunity. So that I will discuss in the next lecture. But now, what are the symptoms of this, local infection and this epithelial breach? So that I will summarize in this slide. A fundamental type of response by the body to injury or local infection is characterized by some classical sign. As you can see, like if some infection, some small cut happen in our skin, you will be seeing that in that portion is little bit, red kind of thing, or little bit warm, it's little bit hot, and some redness, some that kind of symptoms you will see very soon. Why? Because during that time, the vasodilation happened. What is the meaning of vasodilation? So see, I was showing that blood vessel. So in that blood vessel, in that layer, we have the endothelial cell. And now that layer is getting dilated so that more immune cells can come into the place in the local site of infection. So as a result of that, see, if the vasodilation happen, the increase in blood volume in that area, and that's why that portion is little bit, some heat is getting generated and some redness happen also in that area. This is the starting point of this response. Then, because of the vasodilation, vascular permeability also increases. So vascular permeability means some fluid will be leaking from the from the blood vessel. So as a result of that, some fluid will be there, some additional cells, neutrophil, and some other innate immune cells will be coming into place. So because of that, that portion will be soiled. Okay, this is soiling. So as you notice that because of the small infection, small cut, we see some heat, some redness, also some swelling, and sometimes little bit of pus formation also. So this is all because of this reaction, that immune reaction. And finally, inflammation, as I already mentioned, heat, redness, swelling, and some pain you will also feel. So these are the classical symptoms of this, response. This is happening because of the infection followed by our immune response as well. And finally, leukocytes enter the tissue from the local blood vessel and halts or clear the potential threat. But all the time, it cannot clear the potential threat. By that time, they are trying to induce our adaptive immune response. So here, we will be discussing the transition part. How, adaptive immune system is getting activated, the transition from innate to adaptive immune response. This chart I already explained. I am not going into the details, but as you can see here, at the very beginning, the whole contribution is coming from the innate immune response. Then slowly, as you can see, the innate response, it is coming down. It's not that much requirement for that particular pathogen. And on the other hand side, you can see adaptive immune response system response that is taking over of this infection so that it can clear the infection. Let's see how it happens. That's the last point of this lecture. So that is transition from innate to adaptive immune response. As I already mentioned that neutrophil, their role is phagocytosis, right? Role is phagocytosis. So I just mentioned because of the local infection, sometimes some pus formation happened, right? So in that pus formation, lot of neutrophils are also present because they were actually initially they were fighting with the pathogen. They are also there. And natural killer cells, I already mentioned, they destroy defective cells, particularly virus infected cell. And macrophage dendritic cell, they do phagocytosis. In addition to that, major thing here is antigen presentation. Antigen presentation and phagocytosis. This is very important. They phagocytose pathogen, microbes, and they process that information, what is present inside the microbes, and they display some kind of signature, some kind of antigenic signature on their surface to activate our adaptive immune system. So here, if you see, I mentioned here proteins eaten by APC. APC means antigen presenting cell. So I can say macrophage is one APC. Dendritic cells, they are also APC, antigen presenting cell. Okay. So proteins eaten by APC, how they are eating the protein? Basically, they are engulfing, they are phagocytosizing those microbes, and they are breaking down those microbes into small pieces. And in microbes, you have different types of biological macromolecules. Proteins are also there, right? So from this protein, they will make small peptides, right? So these proteins are broken down to small pieces. Those are called peptides, and you can say these are antigenic peptide or just antigen, you can say, which are loaded on special receptor which are called MHC, major histocompatibility complex, present on the surface of macrophage and dendritic cell. So the basic idea, if I show you here, this is some kind of bacteria, pathogen. Then this is one dendritic cell, DC. The next step, what will happen? So DC will engulf this bacteria. So this is DC. I am not showing nucleus of DC or all those things, not important here. Then inside the DC, this bacteria will be broken down into small pieces, and they will make some peptides also, right? Peptides. Those are called antigen, protein antigen particularly. And now DC, on their surface, they have some specific type of receptor which is very important, which are called MHC, major histocompatibility complex. They are presenting this antigen. So these antigens are coming from where then? These antigens are coming from this bacteria itself, from this bacteria. So now this DC, which is presenting antigen through this MHC, they will now help our T cell to learn what kind of information present in this bacteria. And as a result of that, our T cell will learn how to make a specific type of weapon, specific type of reagent, so that we can fight against this bacteria. This weapon is particularly, I would say, antibody. I will be discussing in some, in some other lecture. But anyway, so this is the steps how like transition from innate to adaptive immune response happen. Okay, so that's all. During the next lecture, I will be discussing about our adaptive immune response. But remember, this innate response is very important at the very beginning, and they are preventing the growth of these microbes. But at some point, when they cannot tackle properly, they need the help from our adaptive immune system, which can completely, like, it can clear the infection. Particularly in this context, you should try to, like, understand that macrophage and dendritic cell, although they are part of our innate immune response, but they are the, I would say, linker. They are linking between the innate and adaptive immune response. As you can see, they are directly engulfing, phagocytosing those microbes. That is true. That way they are reducing the number. At the same time, they are digesting those microbes. They are making small peptide and presenting on their surface to teach adaptive immune cells in our body how to, like, make different substances of adaptive immune response to clear the infection. So that's why macrophage and dendritic cell, they linked between innate and adaptive immune response. That's all. Thank you very much.